Good morning, y'all. Today we're going to be talking about some plants that I ordered from Plants Delights Nursery on March 20th. I just looked at the date, so I got them today. They kind of save them until they're more appropriate to planting in your zone, which I love, so you're not ordering anything over winter and then having to deal and store it for, several months potentially. So as you know, I've been wanting to add a lot of interesting things to my garden, and over winter I tend to do more research about things that are wild and weird and just are interesting conversation pieces. So I've got 6 plants here we're going to talk about very quickly. I have lots of videos I want to shoot this weekend. I know of 5 at least, so I'm probably going to be putting out more videos than usual, and they may be shorter because there's just some things I want to show you that I don't really want to combine into other videos. But let's get into these plants because I have some carnivorous ones that I really want to talk about. And the first one is a pitcher plant. So all of these things should be perennial here. We'll see if they do well. But I have both a pitcher plant and a Venus flytrap. This is called Conversation Piece, which I just thought was the perfect name, and that's why I just mentioned it a while ago. It's about 28 inches tall, and where I'm going to put this, I'll show a picture on the screen, because it's much more beautiful when it becomes an adult. It has a lot more color. Some of these plants don't exhibit necessarily the color that they're going to have when they get a little more developed. I'm going to put it next to the fountain over here because they like moist soil conditions. And over here, I think it'll get plenty of sun, which it'll love. It'll be attracted to a lot of the blooming things over here, where some bugs and stuff might fall in there. And then the fountain splashing will keep it sufficiently moist, I think, to keep it happy. But you can see all these baby pitcher plants getting shot up here, which is really cool. And I didn't realize that we could grow pitcher plants perennial in our zone, but there are some that come back here. So we'll just have to see how well this does this summer. Really excited about adding this one to the garden. Now I got all of these plants from Plant Delight Nursery in Raleigh, North Carolina. And you may have heard of this company before from HortTube and Jim Putnam. He has got a shipment from them before. He may have visited the nursery and done a video there, but they have a lot of interesting rare plants or things that you're not going to find necessarily everywhere and at all garden centers, online or in person. And so we'll continue moving through these, and I'll just show you some of the interesting ones. This one specifically is not that rare. It is a Coffee Cups Calicasia, which, if you are a Proven Winners fan, you may have seen these in videos too. Proven Winners carries this in its line of like elephant ear plants. And so what's interesting, it has the leaves make little cups. And so they fill up with water when they get really large, and then they kind of tip and pour out the water, which is really cool. I haven't been able to find coffee cups locally. And so while it was on this list of plants I was looking at, I just added it to my cart, and it will get really large. And I think I'm going to put this out front this year around all of the hydrangeas that I'm planting. Potentially it may want a little more sun than that, so I may be able to put it over there near the new magnolia that I planted. We'll just see where I end up sticking it. But I think if I can put it somewhere where it catches lots of water and just kind of tips over and I can get some video of that, that would be really interesting. So it might be good here to put next to the patio or the pergola so I can get some footage of that when it's raining. All of these, of course, have scientific names, but I'm going to include links to them directly to Plant Delights in the description because some of the names I am going to butcher when I pronounce them. Specifically this Venus flytrap, which is 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 but it's red, which I thought was really interesting. And I'm going to show some pictures on the screen so you can see it better. The GoPro doesn't do as good of a job conveying what these tiny plants look like as a picture on the screen will. But I'm also going to put this one over near the fountain as well because it also enjoys moist conditions and a fair amount of light. So that fountain splashing will keep the ground wet around it. And this is also supposed to be a perennial too, but just because it's red, I thought was really striking. It'll make a nice stark contrast to the other plants I have in that location. This is a simple polygonatum called Angelwing, and it gets very striking white variegation. So it doesn't appear as white right now, but as it gets older, as the picture on the screen shows you, it produces a lot of more heavy variegation than you might have seen in some of the more standard variegated varieties of this. And I kind of wanted to tuck this into a shady part of the garden. And I love adding these things to them. They do spread a little bit over time. I have not found them to be like something to overtake an area and something that you can control really easily. In fact, I've got several rare varieties in my garden that I haven't shown a whole lot on screen because I got them planted about 2 years ago and they've just not spread very well. And so I'm hoping I can put this one somewhere where it'll do really nicely for me and continue to provide some nice, beautiful variegated foliage in a shady plant location. Now, the next two I am interested in adding to the garden, but they may be something I have to keep my eye on, and I hope I don't have to remove them. I'm getting a little concerned about this one specifically, just seeing it in its container and how bulging out of it is. This is called 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, and I believe specifically that the Impatient Gardener, Aaron, the Impatient Gardener on YouTube, has talked about this one before, and I saw it on there. I've been looking, as you know, for interesting grassy textures to underplant on the front side of my home, some of the boxwoods and things I've shown you. And this is a very interesting variegated. It's also called sweet flag, golden sweet flag, and it's kind of likes a moist location, I believe. So I'm going to put this up front somewhere and we'll see how it does. I'm going to keep my eye on it. If it starts spreading too much, it might be something that I remove or put in somewhere else where I can control it a little better. I do like ground covers, but grass ground covers concern me sometimes. So this is one I'm going to keep a look on, but it's really beautiful, as you can see on the screen. It produces a nice, it grows kind of upright and then just kind of lays over a little bit and makes a beautiful border plant as well. Apparently the roots of it have antifungal and antibacterial properties, and it says it's an easy to grow ground cover which forms a 1 foot tall, slowly widening patch. So we're betting on that slowly, but you can see the new foliage has more of a stripe down the center of it, and so it'll be kind of variegated, but it's going to be a really nice texture, I think, up front too. And as long as it grows slowly and we can remove it from time to time as it gets a little bigger than we want, or spread it around the garden if we really like it, that's great. The last one that I'm going to show you is called, it is a liriope called PD ingot, and it is also called golden monkey grass. This is one that I'll be more concerned about watching it spread a little quickly. So there are multiple different varieties of liriope. Liriope muscari is supposed to be the cultivar that doesn't spread as prolifically as liriope spicata does. But this, as you can see, is a little more chartreuse right now, but in full sun, it says if you put it in a full sun location, it turns like this brilliant gold color and should be kind of clump forming and slow spreading and easier to control. So we're going to put this in more of a sunny location, I think, or a place that will get a little more sun, because I don't just want something that looks kind of grassy. I want some striking color contrast there. So those are the plants that I was going to show you today. I'm going to try and go ahead and get these in the ground this weekend so they can get started establishing before our warmer weather comes. That'll be specifically very important for the carnivorous plants I have here. That way they can get their foot in the ground, so to speak, and be set up for success for the coming season. Thank you guys for joining me, and stick around. Lots of videos to come. And remember, in a world full of hate, be a light. Take care, everyone. Bye.